WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, X, and our website, www.wvtcdetroit.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users.
You are tuned in to WVTCDetroit.com to the Sandy Rose Show with your host, Sandy Rose. You will hear the finest in gospel music, insightful conversation, and guests that will enhance you. The Sandy Rose Show can be heard every Monday and Tuesday from 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern and 2 p.m. Pacific, live on YouTube. So get your pencil, paper, and shouting shoes and get ready for today's broadcast. So listen, text a friend or tag a friend and tell them to listen too.
My God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds that thy hands have made, you stood somewhere behind the great, grand, and glorious hills of eternity. Rearranged your agenda for the creation of this vast universe. You reached down with your omnipotent hand into the great abyss of nothingness and threw nothing out into nowhere, and nothing became something. What a world we live in. Look at this world. It's gigantic and it's grand. Mountain heights with scintillating views, valleys scooped out by eternal hands, rolling prairies, running brooks, rippling streams blessed with gold, silver, diamonds, and all kinds of precious minerals. My soul sings when I look and see how God splashed a multitude of stars kissing the heavens like diamonds sprinkled against black velvet and hanging like trapezes from the roof of God's gymnasium. You placed the moon and announced for the world to hear, this is the queen of the night, and she has never stopped shining. The oceans, whose depths have to be measured in miles. The sun has never run out of gas. The stars keep coming out to play. The seasons still march in splendid succession. My God is real. He is from everlasting to everlasting. He even looked around one day to see what he had created and said, that's good. And one day, when he brings everything to consummation and a glorious fruition, when he comes with a shout of acclamation to take me home, What joy shall fill my heart when he calls me? I will answer, and I will bow in humble adoration, and my soul will say, how great thou art. For I know I have a house of many mansions, eternal in the heavens, up where Jesus lives, up beyond the atmosphere, the stratosphere, the exosphere, the troposphere, up where I'll never grow old, up to the streets of gold, up beyond the vicissitudes of life. And I will honor him as King of Kings and Lord of Lords, and simply say to him that is able to keep you from falling and to present you faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy, to the only wise God, our Savior, be glory and majesty, dominion and power, both now and forever and forever and forever. My God, how great thou art.
Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his holy name. To the people of God everywhere, we are here to encourage you through the word of God. This is the day that he has made, and we are going to rejoice and be glad in it because of the great things that he has done, and he is a great God. Paul reminded the members of the church at Philippi that he that hath begun a good work in you is faithful to complete it all the way to the day of judgment, because he is faithful, he's reliable, he is dependable, and whatever he starts, he will complete, because he is just that kind of a God. He's faithful. Can I get a witness here today? He's faithful, dependable, he's reliable. You can count on him to complete the good things that he began. The Lord is faithful. Let me tell you a story. Siblings grew up in the same household, arguing and fussing, and finally mama comes in and says, all right now. But then one would say, but mama, he started it. And then she says, well, I'm going to finish it. Oh, but God, through his son Jesus Christ, whatever he starts, he will complete, because he's the same today, yesterday, and forever. He started something. Over 2,000 years ago, he started something. In that while we were still sinners, Christ went all the way to Calvary, paying a debt that he did not owe, because we owed it and were not in a position to pay it. He's faithful, and his compassions never fail. Somebody needs to be encouraged today, just like Job. He said, I didn't bring nothing in this world, but I've lost it all, and I'm still gonna hold on to him and not give up on him, because he's not giving up on me. Don't let your past hold you hostage. There are too many of us that know where God has brought us from and know his faithfulness, even in spite of our unfaithfulness. And as the Apostle Paul says, in him I live, I move, and I have my being. I exist all because of him. So despite the fact that I've not done everything in the manner in which he has instructed me, he is faithful. And he will perform the good thing that he has began in me because of his faithfulness. Job was a perfect and an upright man. He feared God, but even in the midst of losing everything he had, he said, I didn't bring nothing in this world, and I'm not gonna take anything out of this world. Though he slay me, I'm still gonna trust him. Though after my skin worms may destroy this body, he's faithful. I know I'll see God. Whatever God has done in your life, don't look back, but look unto him, because he is the author, he is the finisher. He's the A and he is the Z. The question is, will you be faithful? When your rope of hope seems like it's almost broke, just reach beyond the break and hold on. Be steadfast and unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, because he's faithful. If you receive him today, he'll heal you, he'll fill you, yeah, he'll guide you, he'll hide you, walk with you, talk with you, open up your heart. I will be faithful.
sir. I survived it. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And how did I survive it? I survived because he is faithful, faithful. And we want to welcome everyone to today's installment of the Sandy Rose Show. I am Sandy Rose, and you are?
I am Teresa Acton. Great Tuesday, everyone.
And my name is Richard Darrell Nichols, all the way from Chino, Chino, California.
All right, all right. And you looking awfully dapper, young man.
Yes, we have a very, very special guest today. It's my favorite, beautiful cousin. So I had to roll out the purple carpet for her. And we are having a virtual family reunion on the Sandy Rose Show today. All of my people are on the show today.
All right. Well, that's what we want. That's what we want. And like I said, you are looking dapper. And
thank you.
Teresa has on what's going on with the shirt.
Oh, we're celebrating Black History. This is part of the 365. That's all it is. Black History Day.
All right. All right. Yeah. And we are Black. What?
365 days a year.
Yes, yes. And they told me when I was growing up, that's all you have to do is stay Black and pay taxes. Yes, yes. So we want to say hello to everyone that is out there with us today. We'll do our weather in a second, but we are so glad to see everyone out. And I want you to stay tuned. We got a brand spanking new song that we're going to play later on today with none other than Clinton Gardner. He's got you all are like this song, so you'll hear it here first, and maybe not first, but you'll hear it here best. And we will make sure we play that song. And as you see, like with my nephew Carlos that was here yesterday, we are into breaking new songs, so we will break your song and make sure everybody knows the song. Make sure everybody knows the song. Yes. And I wanted to talk about just a little bit. We got a couple of minutes before we have to go on and bring on our guests, but I wanted to talk about Spirit Airlines.
Oh yeah.
Now I gotta admit, remember when we had our guest on, Randall, he was in the movie with me, and he was a flight attendant for Spirit Airlines. And I don't know if you all remember, but I called it the Greyhound of the Air.
Right.
Yeah. It was the Greyhound of the Air. But he made a comment that a guy got on the plane and he was crying. And so he went to him and, asked, well, are you okay? Is there anything I can do to help you? And he said, no, I'm just grateful that I'm able to bring my 4 kids on this flight, and I'm taking them on a vacation because this airline is affordable.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you took the affordable airline. So somebody is not caring about the common man. They asked for, I believe it was $500,000 to bail them out.
$5 million.
Well, I mean, $500 million, right. But the war is how much that we didn't approve? 25 billion already.
Right.
And we didn't even approve it. These are American citizens. These people work and live in the United States. And the folks who need to get on Spirit, I know the last time I wrote them, when I told y'all they tried to leave me in Atlanta, but I had to ride that airline because my father had just passed away. And, you have to do things, okay, got 3 days before the funeral. So you getting a 3-day flight.
Right.
Of course, on any other airline, we're looking at 1,000. We're going to start at 1,000.
Yeah.
We can do something like Spirit and get you there and get you back and you're okay. this is really going to do a lot against the travel.
Yes.
Yes. So
and against the people who work there. I think they laid off 1,700 workers.
Yeah. And I heard that they get 1 month of COBRA.
Oh.
1 month. And it's usually 6. They get 1. And the airline, I mean, this could have all been prevented. And if you don't know how the economy works, those like the airlines that are on the bottom, they set their prices, and then you got the high class. And so most airlines try to fall somewhere in the middle. Well, when you get rid of the bottom, these are going up.
Yeah.
It's just gonna happen. And I'm hoping and praying that either the government, I mean, you know, the kiosks, they covered up the names, but it's not like it can't come back.
Yes.
And or another airline that is equivalent to that. But with the gas prices, you can't say it was all Spirit's fault.
Right.
You know, because the airline, the gas prices went up. We're taking the choir to Greensboro. And the tickets started off maybe from January to March. They were like maybe 253, you know, up in there. They're like 6.
Wow.
500 or 600. And in just a month. So this is not only going to affect those people who fly Spirit, is going to affect your conventions.
Yeah.
Going to affect vacations, because some people are just not going to be able to handle it. And if they do, they'll end up putting it on a credit card that, you know, now my credit
another problem.
That's a whole nother issue. It's a whole other issue. So I'm just praying for the airlines industry. You know, I'm a frequent traveler. And I'm just and all of
worse.
Yeah,
all of this could have been avoided. But we're trying to build a ballroom. Go ahead, please.
I'm just going to say that there are just others around the world who are saying that you know, the president has no idea, you know, what he's doing, and you know, everything's, you know, being reflected on us, and I hate the fact that he's got his loyal followers who are probably thinking, what have I gotten myself into? But yet they feel like they have to still stick with him, you know, for their career's sake or for what have you. It's just very sad that people are not, you know, stepping up and doing the right thing.
It is. And I, you know, I'm praying again for the industry. I'm praying for us as humans, because we got 3 more years.
Yeah.
So I mean, all of this, because we're in a war that we didn't have nothing to do with.
And he doesn't know how to get out of it.
You didn't ask me, could I go? Can we go to war? That's what you're supposed to do. And they keep allowing things to happen that shouldn't be happening. Just like half the White House is down waiting on that ballroom, and that hoax of a White House, the press bureau, that was such a hoax.
Okay.
It was. I mean, you know,
distraction.
I mean, the guys with the guys with the big guns just came out of nowhere. I mean, why were they there? Well, you know what I'm saying? They just came out of nowhere.
Nowhere. But the next day, that night, all sound bites from the cabinet members and everybody else would see this why we need a ballroom.
Yeah.
It was all a hoax. Who thought this man can't take Jimmy Kimmel? He cannot take Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
He was gonna sit there and get roasted. Who thought that? Okay. I'm done. But I figured I needed to say that. And yes, 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 yes. Let's see. Gail said, I read that a 29-year-old black man was trying to buy Spirit and it would be historical, which would be the first black-owned airline. Not sure. And I've heard that too, and I'm gonna do some investigating. I didn't know how old he was, and we're gonna see. Hopefully, but again, we need all of that for to keep the prices in order. You
Yes.
got to have that. You got to have that. So we're praying for Spirit. We're praying for our company, our country. We're praying for all of this. And we'll be singing with Lemmy. I survived.
Yeah.
Because the Lord is faithful. He is.
Yes.
Amen. Amen. But we do live in this world. We've got a couple of bereavement announcements that we want to make, which is, first we've got, we're still praying for the Pollards. We have a tendency after the week is over or another person has passed away, we kind of move on to that next person. We got to remember, continue to pray for everybody who is still in grief.
Right.
Grief has no time limit. So anybody who is feeling a loss of their loved one, know that we are yet in continuation of prayer for you. We're praying for Sister Lisa Carter in the homegoing of her husband. They called him DC. And we're just praying for that. We're also praying for the family of Ava Gardner, who was a member of the Voices of Tabernacle. And Ava sang soprano. She kind of grew up with me. She was a little bit older, but we were all in the choir together. And her sister was my good Judy, right?
Right.
That's who I got carjacked with, so Ava went home to be with the Lord, and I don't think we have any arrangements yet, but as soon as the arrangements are made available, we will make sure that you all get it. And another person who has gone on to be with the Lord is Sister Beverly Walker. And Sister Beverly Walker was the only woman that I remember directing the Voices of Tabernacle. Now, I saw Reverend Glover do a couple things, but Beverly Walker was the only woman that I saw. Now, I'm not saying what happened before I got there, but what I saw. And she was an example to me. And after, she started directing, I figured I saw a woman doing it and it was okay. So I'm like, I can do this too. Right. So I looked at her as a role model. She was someone I can look at and say, yep, I want to do that. She went home to be with the Lord. She's the mother of one of our listeners, Rhonda Weissmith. And she comes on the show and comments, and I want to send love and support out to her and her siblings and everybody who is missing, will miss Beverly Walker. And I was just so elated. It brought tears to my eyes. Larry and Rhonda and the rest of the committee went to Beverly's house and had her to film a video, and they played it at my celebration, and it just touched.
Wow.
And I'm so glad you all did that video. And we'll never forget her. And her signature song was Down by the Riverside. He mentioned Down by the Riverside because his generation remembers me directing it. And my generation remembers Beverly directing it. So I do have a tape, and this is not the best quality, but it's there. And it's a tape with Reverend James Cleveland, and he was here for the 25th anniversary of the Voices of Tabernacle, and they called Beverly up, and she did this song, and we'll play this song in memory of Beverly Walker, and we'll be back after this.
Might remember 25 years ago, and certainly for the young people who did not get a chance to know the very rich heritage of gospel music that was born right here upstairs in a Masonic temple, in a little room where folk danced all night on Saturday. At 3 o'clock in the morning, Reverend Craig got us all out of bed and had us scrubbing and sweeping, and as we set the chairs up, he said, do it with a heavenly spirit, because what we got to do, we got to all, after we clean up, we got to walk around in here and pray until we get the sinful demons out. So that in the morning when we get ready to march in here, it'll be a building dedicated to the worship of true and the living God. And I want you to know what you see here tonight is nothing but just love. I would not have come from California for any other reason tonight, but the spirit of this great man, we loved him. We worked without a dime because we loved him. We love the word. And the Voices of Tabernacle, whatever you're going to be after a while, should be immensely proud today, because you stand in the shoes of those that are gone, but you carry a very rich heritage. And we've always known as a choir, didn't take down, we just opened our mouths and sang, because first of all, we were taught to believe what we were singing. And that any singer that has not been born again, you just sound in brass. You just sing and sing. So tonight, I want to take you back. I got a list here. When we were trying to get this together, say, what are we going to sing? And everybody pitched in, and we started remembering songs. And now songs start coming, and God said, y'all, cut it somewhere. So I got the list. And this segment of the concert tonight is going to be called Bits and Pieces. We're going to hit a little bit of that and a piece of this. And we're going to try to take you back 25 years to the sound upstairs, okay? The Voices of Tabernacle. Let me see. Where to start? I've been looking at this list all night trying to figure out what to sing first. Of course, back in our day, we didn't know nothing about contemporary. But they did think we was kind of strange choir because we came out with strange things. And now some of the choirs of the day reach back and got some of the stuff that we used to do, especially Father Hayes over in Chicago. Kind of dressed it up a little bit, but we love him for it. There he is, sitting right down here on front. And we hope to give you some more material so you can go home and dress it up. Why don't you give him a hand?
Unfortunately, right when they were getting to the song. So we'll make sure that we just hit the song tomorrow. Well, on Monday, we'll hit the song. But we are remembering none other than Beverly Walker, who is she the original down by the riverside. She take
Okay.
took him
Do
down.
you have a tape of her directing that?
That's the tape. He was getting ready to call her out. And what happened was when we had to start the stream over because it didn't catch. So we had it right at the point where she was up directing. So in order to hurry up and get it done, we just picked the spot and said, okay. And it was a little longer than we thought, but nonetheless, we will play that song for you guys later. But we'll do the weather. We've got a guest, so get the bio together and let's go on and get this weather out of the way. Let's see, we've got 80 degrees from Sharon. Sharon DNA McAllister is right there, and she's got 80 degrees. It's warm there. Roosevelt is here. He's got 56 degrees. Roosevelt is in Chicago. Larry is here. And Larry has 57 degrees. Hallie is in Detroit. She has 54 degrees. Roxy, 80 degrees, 80 degrees. See if we had spirit, we can get over there kind of quickly. Let's see. Our next one, we got Teresa. She's there in horse country. 71 degrees. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Lena is here in Shelby Township. She's got 55 degrees. And we have Brenda Rubin in the Bay Area. She's got 63 and cold. Burr. Oof. Let's see. Dr. Catherine is on. She has 67 degrees in Los Angeles. 67, she said, and it's a cloudy day. Jay Hemingway is in Hope, Michigan, and he has 53 degrees. So that does it for the weather for today. And let's bring our guest.
We do have a very, very special guest. I always say that. But this young lady, she is sure enough my favorite cousin. Hello, all my cousins' favorite ones out there. And we are very proud of her. She's doing a lot of things. She's a great role model for our family. And we're just so happy to have her here. I don't know her as Deidre Jackson, but we'll say Deidre Jackson is a senior healthcare.
What do you know her?
Danielle. I have never called her Deirdre. Hi, Danielle. But Deirdre Jackson is a senior healthcare executive, author of Holding Space, and a powerful voice for caregivers, navigating love, responsibility, and identity in real time. With more than 2 decades in leading national healthcare strategies across complex systems, she understands performance, pressure, and what it means to carry weight with grace. But her most transformative leadership role has unfolded at home. As the proud daughter of a Vietnam veteran, Deirdre became her father's caregiver during his most vulnerable years. What began as a duty became a revelation. Holding Space is born from that sacred intersection of strength and tenderness, where survival gives way to intentional presence and loves become active discipline. Her work speaks to high achievers, caregivers, healthcare leaders, and women in transition who are quietly holding everything, the entire world together. She challenges audience to move beyond burnt out and modernism to grounded clarity, to understand that caregiving wears differently than exhaustion, to recognize that survival is only the halfway point. The real work begins on the other side. On stage, Deirdre blends executive precision with emotional depth. She speaks about resilience without romanticizing struggle, the boundaries without guilt, about honoring elders while not abandoning yourself. Her message is both strategic and spiritual, practical and deeply human, whether addressing healthcare organizations, caregivers, communities, women's forums, faith groups, or leadership audience. Deidre creates space for truth, dignity, and forward motion, because holding space is not passive, it's leadership. So let's give a good God bless you and a good WVTC welcome to my beautiful favorite cousin, Miss Deidre Jackson.
She's gonna get you. And we've got a comment here from Kendall. They gonna all get you.
Kendall, how you doing, sir? They are my favorite nieces and nephews. We're talking about cousins right now.
Oh, okay. Clean it up. Clean it up. Well, we've got this song that we're going to play, and it's from none other than our station manager, Larry Whitfield. He produced the song, and his daughter, Jacqueline, is singing it. And it's Oh How Precious, and we love it here at this station, and we hope you'll love it too. It's brand new, so go ahead and download it. Get it. We'll be right back.
I have so much because of God's precious name. Listen.
The value of your name so great. Your life for mine you've exchanged. Oh, how precious, yeah. Provided peace, my victory. In you I have authority. How precious I live, I move, and I have my being. Yeah. Oh, how precious is His name. Oh, how precious is
Yeah.
the name of Jesus. Oh, how is the name of God. Yahweh, oh Yahweh, oh yeah. Precious is He. Oh,
Oh, how
precious is His name. Emmanuel, you never leave me alone.
shalom.
You are my peace when everyone is
I ride above it all when I call your name.
high. You are my shepherd and you never
I'm healed by your stripes.
the author and finisher of my
Oh, that's who you are.
we worship you alone.
Yahweh, precious is He. Oh, how precious, my God, is His name.
That's what I wanted to see. That's what I wanted to see. And we are so glad that we were able to get that video working, and everybody was able to see none other than the great Beverly Walker up doing her thing. Yes, taking them down by the riverside. And we are here with none other than Deidre Jackson, who is a senior healthcare professional. And we are so happy to have you here. How are you? And we will not call you what Uncle Richard. Okay, we're going.
I can go by Danielle. In fact, I didn't know my name was Deidre until I turned 5, so he is perfectly fine.
Okay, all right. So it's great to have you on. We had several comments in the chat section after they read your bio. And people wrote in comments. I took care of my mom and dad. I got burned out. I'm the only girl. My 3 brothers lived out of state, did not help me. I ended up being diagnosed with breast cancer. I think came from chronic stress. My body was overwhelmed and I couldn't fight sickness or disease. And it's just something. There was another comment. Let's see. Minister Paul Parker said, I was my late mother and father's care provider. So, you know, what you have to talk about is just so important because people don't understand until they get in that situation. And most times you've never been there before. So, you know, how do you know? How did you get into the medical field?
Oh, the medical field. I thought you were going to say caregiving. I was about to say slapped on me from caregiving, but from the medical field, actually, right out of undergrad, I joined Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, and I was there for 16 years before moving into startup land, and also went to Northwestern here in Chicago and got my master's in health communications and kind of stayed in the healthcare payer space for over 25 years. In fact, I didn't think that I was going to become a healthcare provider in this way or an advocate in this way. I honestly, you know, out of college, I got my degree in information systems, and then I did some physical therapy. So I thought I'd become a doctor of physical therapy, but God had a different plan.
Yeah, always does. But one good thing about it, he'll take what you have and use it wherever he's sending it. So how did you get into the caregiving?
Oh, thank you so much. First of all, Sandy, thank you so much for having me on the show, and for everyone welcome me as well. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you guys. To be honest, from a caregiver perspective, I didn't know that I was a caregiver. It actually started as a trickle. And you're taking on small little activities and helping with groceries, and then you're taking on the financials, and then you're taking on the car, and then you're taking on the medical, and then you realize you're standing in a flood, and you have no words for it. You have no language because you're just continuing to do what you've always done by way of taking care of things. As new things come in, you learn to handle it. I'll tell you one story that really resonated for me when I had to step back and catch my breath in supporting my dad. So my dad, you know, lived on his own, and then I moved him into an apartment near me so I could monitor him a bit more. And, you know, I noticed that he stopped going out and eating, and he wasn't going to eat unless I brought him groceries. And one night, after being tired, after dragging through work, and I was in Walmart and I took his groceries to him, I was putting it away, and he lived in a studio apartment. And I was stopped in my tracks because I saw bed bugs, and they were all over. They were all over him, and his body had deteriorated to a point where he didn't even feel them. And I was so overwhelmed. I didn't think that I would know how to deal with this situation on top of everything else. And I remember asking God for help, and I felt so guilty and the exhaustion just because I couldn't kiss him. I couldn't hug him. I was afraid that I would bring him home to my family and my kids. And so that was the time that's like, I need more help. And then I moved him eventually into independent living, and now he lives with me. But it was very much a journey. And I said it for the first time out loud as a keynote. I was given a keynote in my executive role, and they're like, hey, Deidre, come fly to Washington, D.C. and talk to these people and give a keynote to military caregivers, children caregivers. I was like, okay, I can do this. I give keynotes all the time. And I realized I was talking to myself. My dad at that point had been in the hospital for 3 months. And he had every illness under the sun. In fact, I had spent a night picking out his cremation box that we were going to cremate him in, because, that's where we were. I made all the phone calls to the brothers and to the nieces and nephews to say their goodbyes. And then I was asked to come to Washington and give this speech. And I realized I was talking to myself for the very first time. And I said all the things. I said all the things that you don't hear about caregiving. It's just a label, but no one talks about the depth and what it rearranges your life in a certain way. I got a standing ovation, and I was floating on cloud 9, and I was walking off this. It wasn't a stage, but I was walking back to my table, and my eldest daughter was there, and I was still floating and coming down, and the folks are around clapping and standing. And I gave my daughter a hug, and she said to me, Mom, see, Pawpaw didn't die so you could live. And it snapped me back to reality. And it gave me a new purpose in life. And I knew because of their reaction, I couldn't allow my story to just end in that room. So I ended up writing a book. Mind you, this literally was a year ago. In April, a year ago is when I had that. And it's completely rearranged my life since.
Wow. And people don't understand the depth that it is. They say, oh, you're a caregiver. And for those who've never taken care of their parents or a loved one, and each case is different. Each case is different. Now, did you have any help from siblings or anything else?
Listen, I'm going to tread real lightly on that one, Sandy, because my siblings are on this call.
I got you. Okay.
No, I will say, just like, I think it was Sandra that left the comment earlier. I also am the only girl. I have 3 brothers. 2 are older. They live in California. That's my brother who just said, be careful. So he helps from afar in California, but I'm here day to day. And, he helps me with things like Papa needs cable, or, figuring out those things. So I get some support. The biggest supporter I have, y'all, and this is, in all honesty, is my mother. And my mother, who is Richard's first cousin, and my dad divorced over 30 years ago when I was 17. And this woman shows up in a way that I cannot believe. She is the most selfless woman that I know. I am able to do the things I'm able to do because she lives 4 blocks from me. She comes over. If I'm traveling, she'll stay. And mind you, they have been divorced for many, many years. Basically on like speaking terms, just how you're doing, just, meeting at my house. But she's amazing. So that's truly the support I give. And to be honest, the VA, the Veteran Administration, hands down, I am so grateful for all the support that they have given us.
I was going to ask you to talk about that. And just for pointers, Sharon is the Sharon that is getting this family reunion together. She's getting it. Okay. But you talked about the veterans help. One of the things, the resources, how do you go about getting resources? Because you got a lift for your dad installed in your home.
Can y'all see that back there?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
To be honest, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to navigate. I didn't know what questions to ask. And I navigated to the VA social worker, and she is everything. And she is kind of the quarterback that connects me with all the things, whether it is his at-home care, whether it's physical therapy, assistance. So she has been wonderful in helping to connect the dots. And then, so I connected with her, and then she put me in touch with, someone that came out and did a home assessment and visit for us. A lot of guilt that I carried too in the very beginning was because my house is not accessible. Like I have stairs and all the things. And so he lived in independent living because in my head, it was a block because the house isn't accessible for him. But they helped me. They came home, did a home visit. They put in the lift. They've given us support to get some railings in for him. So we are very, very fortunate.
Amen.
How would you, some of the listeners, see you had inside help. Where would they go to find help?
It depends. So if it is the veterans, I would go to the Veteran Administration. They are very, very helpful. Navigate to the social worker. The social worker knows all the resources to connect to. Also, the primary care doctor is super important. If you have the opportunity, go to the appointments with your loved one, because that's when you learn a lot and you learn what they don't say and what they do say. And so getting connected also with the primary care physician. And I have all of their phone numbers on speed dial. So I literally will text and be like, hey, we weren't approved for power mobility. What do I do? And they'll respond, which is amazing. So find the people and the humans in the system that can help you navigate.
Right. And I even going back to childhood, Mr. Rogers always said, if something goes on, the helpers are always, you'll always be able to find the helpers. And a lot of times we don't ask for the help, or we don't go beyond what we see right here. Oh, well, they'll never give me anything. And it's like, you'll be surprised. You have not because you asked not. So you are advocating to go to whatever advocate that they have, say at the hospitals or.
Yeah, absolutely. I will also say, Sandy, like I want to pick up a thread that you just mentioned, in which you have to ask for help. Sometimes you don't even know you need the help, right? And so that's one of the things that I'm really passionate about here within caregiving. One, there's 63 million caregivers in the United States. Majority of them are women. Go figure, 75% are caregivers. That's what we do in life. Yeah. And they're just busy moving, right? You're busy being a mom. You're busy being a cook. You're busy. And so you just think that those are just additional life responsibilities. You don't name that you are a caregiver. I didn't know that I was a caregiver, to be honest. And I'm a healthcare executive, right? I was just a daughter doing the work.
Yes, doing daughter.
Mm-hmm. And once I said caregiver, that's when the caregiver resources became available to me. So it is a hidden, and I think Sharon also mentioned, it is a hidden burden and a hidden weight that many people, women, men alike, are burning out. And my passion is connecting healthcare and the implication when you start hearing about the aging population or Medicare or the baby boomers. There's 73 million baby boomers that are going to be aging into Medicare. Now, what happens if this invisible workforce that's not getting paid burns out? They suffer at work. So not only will work businesses suffer because now they're sick or challenged or, struggling with their own health, but then also the folks that they were caring for, they get flooded back to the hospital. And there's so much more cost that's associated with that. So I am passionate about getting upstream and taking care of the caregivers who are taking care of us in a lot of ways as a system.
So, how much more difficult is it? I know a lot of people don't want to send their loved ones to a nursing home because that's all they know. It's not about assisted living because a lot of people don't know about that. They don't know about, in-home care and all, so how would you suggest that people even learn about this stuff?
Yeah.
That there are options out there for you.
Find other caregivers, right? Because they're the ones that's going to point you into the direction. I just did a post on my Facebook last night or maybe a couple of days ago. And I was, upset, with my dad. Someone reached out to me privately and was like, listen, this is what you do. This is who you call. These are the numbers. Call me anytime. Because there's a secret network of caregivers and they'll help you navigate depending on your situation. So don't feel like you have to go at it alone. I did. I felt like I had to go at it alone. I had to learn to ask for help. I had an aunt that was like, girl, sit down, ask for help, call the people, call your brothers, solicit help. And so I think that that's super important, is to find people that have walked your walk to a certain, and they can help mentor you and guide you as well. There are also resources out there. So there's tons of, like, if you Google and do your Googling, you'll bump into different opportunities and organizations. In the book that I wrote, because I didn't know the resources, I put them all in my book, to be honest. And a lot of it is veteran focused, but that's what I knew to do because people don't know where to go.
Yeah. And so many people say that they end up fighting, and it's probably because they don't know what to expect, what they can expect, and how to ask for what they want.
That's exactly right. And you don't know, like I have someone that just recently told me, and she's like, Deidre, you don't know what's out there because you just don't know. Absolutely true. She's like, have you thought about the PACT Act? Have you thought about these things? Have you thought about service? I don't know any of these things until someone tells me to.
Yeah.
can
And
I ask a question?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you about your dad, Deidre? You said you had, you got to resources to help him. What was his reaction to the help? Was he happy, sad?
Well, so I got help from me, right? I got help from me. So it wasn't that he was getting the additional help. I got help from me. So, and I'll liken it to when I had my first baby. I had a baby shower and everyone brings gifts for the baby. And oh my goodness, babies. And I opened up one card and it was a DSW shoe card for me, the mom, who's doing the work of carrying the baby and all the thing. And so caregiving support is like that. See the caregiver. So he is probably not even aware of all the support that I get to care for him. So he is very adamant about not wanting to be a burden. And so I try to hide or like he's not a burden. I had to shift my mind mentally to say that he's not. And in fact, it's more of a new leadership path for me, which is why I'm here and all the things. And so it's super important, I think, while the veteran themselves, they'll get, like, folks are focused on the veteran, they're focused on the patient, but who's supporting the patient is where we need to think about support.
Yeah. Many caregivers lose themselves while caring for others. So how do you maintain your identity while still showing up fully for somebody else?
Great question. And that I've created a program around that very thing, because it's easy to lose yourself, right? And we train ourselves. And I'm going to speak to us women. Sorry, cousin Richard. I'm going to speak to us women for just a second. Okay. We train ourselves over time to lose ourselves, and it starts young. It starts at 19, 20. And like you're making concessions, you're bending to be this, you're taking on the role of mom, of wife, and now you're an actor. And you're an actor, and it depends on what audience you're in front of and what stage you're on to what role you're playing. But who the heck is Deidre? Where is she in all of this? And so that's one of the things that I've had to do is silence a lot of the roles. And it was me writing the book, to be honest, where I began to hear my own voice again. And it was deeper than caregiving. It was, I was silent at home in my marriage. I was doing the motions of an executive and doing the part and looking the part and all the things. And so I think, one, recognizing that I am not these roles and who am I, and trace that back intrinsically to what it is that you are, what were you here for? So my biggest fear, I'll tell you, Sandy, my biggest fear in life, and it absolutely is true. Well, I guess it's not in life because it's going to be post-life, but it's meeting the Lord and him saying, Deidre, why weren't you you? Why didn't you use all the talents I gave you to do? So right now in this moment of my life, I could run back and get a high paying, executive full-time role, or I could really live into loving up and taking care of my dad and being a caregiver in this season. And I'm definitely afraid of choosing the wrong path, right? So
yes, of course.
Correct. Was using your talents. When you step back, you know what God has put into you. It's that silent thing that you've turned off. It's that thing that you've ignored. It's the thing that you've talked yourself out of. Give that some air and some breath and see where it takes you.
Wow. That's a lot of meat there. That's a lot of meat. And we had a couple comments. Brenda said, on my mother's side, we didn't believe in nursing homes. Everybody came to my grandparents' house because that's the promise that was made to take care of each other. So you got, generations that's doing that, and that's honorable, but you want to make sure you get help in doing that and that you're not burning yourself out,
Yeah. I
And
think, that's so important. And in our community, that's what we do, right?
Yeah.
So in our family, it's almost a running, I won't call it a running joke, but maybe the younger folks will call it it's almost who's taking care of the elder. Like they go from house to house.
Yeah.
Right. And so my grandfather or like he would stay with my mom, my aunt, and all the things before, being placed into a nursing home or in independent living. We don't have that necessarily.
Then you know what, Deidre, we tend to think of it as a failure if you are at the point where I can't do it alone. Like there were people on the set, I'm the only one. And it's like, oh, you just put your mama, and it's a mental thing there. It's a mental thing. Your family puts pressure on you. You put pressure on yourself. Your loved one is saying, I don't want to be a burden. It's
more than a notion. It is more than a notion. And you know what's so interesting? Even though it's almost like death, we all know we're going to die, but we don't prepare for it. Especially in our culture here in the States, it's just a taboo thing. We'll think about it when it happens. Same thing with caregiving. Guess what? We all know we're going to be caregiving. We got parents. We're going to take care of our parents. I didn't really realize that. I honestly thought people got old and they died.
Yeah. Because what happens when they don't die?
What happens when you're in the long middle, right? I am in the long middle where my dad, if it was not for medical intervention and all the things, he would not be here today. But now we've extended his life. And I don't know how long that's going to be. Right. I'm ready to be an empty nest. I got 3 kids out the house, one to go, 2 dogs is almost ready to kick the bucket. And here I got this old man with me. Right. And so, but it is like, we need to start having conversations in a family and also think about how are you going to support this entire need. It is very difficult to take someone's entire life and shove it on top of somebody else's.
That's bills, that's any debts, that's any, if they had a house, I got to close the house, I got to do this. And that's, how it is to move for yourself. Now you over moving somebody, you don't even know where anything is. Mm-hmm. So it's just, it's a lot. I want to give this one last one before we go on break. Me too, the only girl cared for my mom. Joined GMWA because I needed an outlet, which was one of the greatest things I could have done. My brothers were out of state also, but would come on special days to relieve us. It's not easy at all. Yeah. And I can attest to what she went through. The caregiver will get sick and or die, and the patient will still be here. Yeah. And that's if we don't know how to do it right. And I think your book helps us to learn there is a right way to do it, and there are things that you can think about, instead of just saying, well, I'm here and this is how great grandma took care of,
I think a lot of it is first make peace with yourself, right? So first make peace with yourself mentally, give yourself permission, give yourself space, give yourself grace. Right. That, because and especially if you're like this high performer, like I'm a high achiever, high performer, not just because I want to be, it's just that's my nature. So when you layer that on, it's just like, well, shoot, I still got to perform at this high level and now take this on. Something's got to give. Right. Yeah. I may not be, so I've learned that depending on the role that I'm in or the audience that I'm entertaining, I might be an A+ mom today, but you know what? I'm a C+ employee. Or I might be an A+ daughter today, but I'm a B wife, right? You're not going to be A+ across the board all the time. And that's okay.
And you got to learn how to deal with that. And you got to learn how to be okay with B, C today, C, D, A, you got to be okay with that. And that's hard to wrap your mind around. It just really is. We're going to go on break right now. And during our break, we're going to play a brand new song from none other than Clinton Gardner. And he is one of our favorites here at WVTC Detroit. And this is a brand new song for him. You know, just tell the Lord yes. Sometimes you just need to tell the Lord yes, and get it off of you and just say, okay, Lord, I yield. I can't hold out no longer. So even in caregiving, we have to do that. So we'll be right back after this song. But this is Clinton Gardner. Download it.
As I look back over my life and I see how I ran from you when you tried to speak to me, everything was going down. I needed help and no one was around, so I fell to my knees, cried out, Lord, help me please. I surrender my all. My soul says I've decided to give Jesus my choice. Finally, his voice, he changed the way I looked at my life, and now I have another chance to walk right. Yes to your will and yes to your way. No matter the situation, I'll obey. My soul says yes, yes. In the morning, while the dew is still on the roses, yes. In the middle of the day, when I think about just how good you've been to me. Yes. In the evening, when I lay my head down to sleep, yes. My soul says yes. In the morning, with brand new
invited to a powerful move of God at the Spring Revival at New Prospect Missionary Baptist Church. Join us May 19th and 20th, where inspiration meets transformation. Lecture begins at 6 p.m. with the dynamic teacher, Reverend Dr. Jesse T. Williams, Jr.
Don't you ever let the looks and thoughts or words of people stop you from connecting to Jesus Christ.
And at 7 p.m., experience a life-changing revival message from powerhouse preacher, Reverend Dr. Lance Watson.
Don't let them prognosticate about your future, because your meaning, your significance, your value ought not be determined by them. It ought to be determined by him.
All services will be held at New Prospect Missionary Baptist Church, 6330 Pembroke at Livernois in Detroit. Come expecting and leave renewed. Everyone is welcome. Reverend Dr. M. Andrew Davis, Senior Pastor. There's no experience like the New Prospect experience. See you there. Join the GMWA Detroit Chapter Choir for a powerful time of renewal and purpose at our consecration service. Consecration allows us to set ourselves apart, dedicating our voices, our gifts, and our lives to the work of the Lord. As we prepare for the rest of the year of ministry, recording, and travel, we invite you to come and be a part of this sacred moment. Sunday, May 17th at 6 p.m. at the Greater Emmanuel Temple of Deliverance, 620 Seward, Detroit. Bishop Eric F. Mitchell, host pastor and officiant. Come be refreshed, renewed, and consecrated. For more information, visit gmwadetroit.org.
All right. That is Sunday, May 17th. And we will be right there at Greater Emmanuel with Bishop Mitchell. And you know, Bishop Mitchell will never let you down. He will not let you down. So we are looking for everybody. Everyone is welcome, and to come back and consecrate yourself back to the Lord. Also, we are announcing about the New Prospect. They will be doing their Spring Revival 2026, and it is going to take place on May the 19th and 20th. And you heard Reverend Jesse T. Williams Jr. and none other than Detroit's born, Detroit bred, and Lance Watson. He will be the revivalist for this meeting. So make sure that you go over to the New Prospect Baptist Church that is right there on 7 Mile and on Livernois and Pembroke. Livernois and Pembroke right there. And there's plenty good room in my Father's kingdom. We are back here, and we are with none other than Deidre Jackson, who is a senior healthcare provider, a professional. However, we're talking to her about healthcare, and we put some of the comments on the screen during the songs that people were writing, and this is it's near and dear to people's heart because it's their family. You know, that's your loved one. If you're the one responsible for taking care of them, that means that you love them. You know what I'm saying? So this is something difficult for you in your heart. I know how hard it was for me just to watch my grandmother get older. And, you know, like, well, wait a minute, something is different, you know, and you start looking, and that's heartbreaking for you. So you wrote this book. Tell us about the book that you wrote.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. The book is called Holding Space, and you can pick it up on Amazon. You can look for Holding Space by Deidre Jackson. And you know what? It's a mini memoir. It is all of like 35, 38 pages. You can read it in the afternoon. It's not meant to, you know, be this long novel that you have to be so engrossed in. However, it did capture, again, my story plus give resources. And there's also a companion journal that goes along with it because it's meant to be a tool. So when I originally wrote this, and in fact, I'll tell you a story, you know, I was doing, again, my executive role, and I happened to be talking to some ex-military guys, and they were big senior, you know, military folks. And one of them asked, he said, Deidre, who are you in 10 years? And I'm like, you know, my favorite saying is, listen, what God has for me will see my face. right? And he said, no, Deidre, you're big. He's like, you're going to be really big. And he said, write the book. And I didn't know this was a book. Who writes a 35-page book? But it was. And I got to tell you, the outpour that I got from it is beyond what I could have imagined. People read it over coffee, they read it over, an afternoon, and then they take time to also jot down their stories. And so it's meant to create a space, which is why it's called Holding Space, for you to step into what you have going on and tapping into that as well and find your voice. A lot of this too, I got to tell you, my life has shifted so much in such a short amount of time. In January, I left my full-time role, and it wasn't necessarily my choice, but it was God's design, which is amazing. And it was just the welcome that I needed, because it led me through this. And now, I have a greater story and a greater passion. In fact, I'm also building a caregiver program around this, and I have some big news that I'll be sharing. Look at Cousin Richard got all excited. No, I can't share it here, but soon I will, and I will be able to advocate on a bigger platform for caregivers.
Danielle, I was going to tell everybody, I know what it is, and it's not big, it's humongous. And all my cousins, if you send me $5, I'll tell you in my sleep while I'm sleep talking.
Now that can add up to some serious money. It's over 200 of us.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah. So with over 2 decades in the healthcare system and in healthcare leadership, how do you think that the system can better support caregivers and not just the patients?
Oh, now you're speaking my language. You're speaking my language. I spent years building the system, right? And now I'm advocating for people who have largely been left out of the system.
Yes.
Right? And so what you realize is, and you don't realize this until you're in it, you're not talking to the patient. The patient is not the one that's remembering their appointments and their medical or anything else like that. You're talking to the person behind them, and they're the ones that's doing the journaling and keeping up with the things. And so I would love, healthcare would get it right if they actually inserted the role of caregiver. Right. So even for me and my dad, and the VA does it well, but I have to go through so many hoops and on almost every call for them to say, oh, yeah, you can speak to her. Yeah. Right. If I had a role that I can get access to all of his records, that they knew to call me, that I can also advocate for him and see healthcare. What's important in healthcare is what we call longitudinal arc of what we see, what's happening, not just what happened to Richard today, but who has Richard been over the last 10 years or last 3 years? And how is his, what are the trends that we see going on with him? Those are caregivers, right? And so if we can give space to the caregivers to do that, I think would be huge. And just recognizing them. I think also recognizing burnout. Right. And so if we can do things to bolster the caregivers themselves. Another thing that I'm pretty passionate about is, has anybody gone on caregiver leave? Raise your hand if you've gotten caregiver leave before. Exactly. It's not there. You either have to take FMLA, you take all your PTO, you rob Peter to pay Paul. So now I've taken my PTO to caregive. When do I ever get time for me? Right. And this is contributing to the burnout. So I definitely think if we can recognize that they are burning out. And I think corporate, America has a big role to play in that as well. To say that there is a silent workforce. I'll tell you something. When did we know about menopause and perimenopause? I'll tell you when I learned about it, when I came home from college and I had to share a room with my mom. And she's like, ooh, Deanie, I'm hot. Turn on the fan. Ooh, Deanie, I'm cold. Turn it off. Ooh, Deanie, I'm hot. Right. But you didn't know what was going on. She didn't know what was going on. Now we have language about it. And that has become a $27 billion industry because we gave name to it. Yeah. And now people can get resources and you can see it. And now you can learn about it. Now you can manage your symptoms. I think the same thing is true.
Put a name on it. You've got to put a name on it.
You have to put a name on it.
Wow. Wow. And so, yeah, because if we put the name on it, caregiver, then okay, that's a thing now. And it's not just something that we do for our family. And that's, I'm a stay-at-home mother. I'm the caregiver, No, it's
Yeah.
a thing now.
There's an organization, some folks are starting to get it right. There's an organization that I supported last week. I went to Washington, D.C. and was an emceeing for the Military Six Children's Foundation. And that organization, they were recognizing teen caregivers of military parents. Right. So you think about these teens that are also trying to handle social, awkwardness and balancing that and balancing school. They go to school and the teachers think they're burned out. They're not burned out. They're exhausted. They're tired. They're living an adult life. Well, this organization turned their caregiving into community service credit. So now they can put that on their college applications and job applications. Like they are doing real work. And if we can do that broader, I think we get a lot farther. And we need to, because these 73 million folks that's aging into Medicare, it's happening.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So let's talk about boundaries. Why do so many caregivers struggle with guilt when it starts settling in and they start dealing with guilt?
I think if you ask every caregiver, the answer might be different.
Yeah.
Right? But I will say, because you feel like there's a trade-off, right? I choose myself, or I choose this other priority, or I choose the person, or I choose my, the loved one that I'm taking care of. And so you can feel like it's a lot of trading off.
Yeah.
And for me, this was super important. Like I went through, not only did I go through guilt, but I also went through resentment, right? So I built myself in this, executive, and I want to retire to the board and I'm posh and look at me and here's what I'm going to be doing. And so to let all that go, and not to say that I fully let that go, but I had to mentally make the shift that he's not a burden. Deidre, this is your new leadership path. So integrate it. So right now what I'm doing is I'm bringing in all of my, who I am, and I'm making caregiving a big boulder, which is why I'm doing things like this, which is why I'm joining different organizations. So I'm building the program and taking all of my skills that corporate America has trained me well over the last 25 years. How do I apply that for the greater good of this community is what I'm focusing on right now. So it's integration too. And that can be, you can feel guilty about it. You feel guilty. I'm choosing to go for a walk because there's always something to be done. I can call and check the med. I didn't do this. I didn't get his yogurt that he liked. Oh my goodness, he's out of Raisin Bran today. Just all the things that there's so much that you're responsible for.
Yeah, and it's hard to remember what you need, as opposed to, trying to get somebody that what?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's so true. And that's what I'm sorry. I will say just this one little point. You mentioned, Sandy, boundaries. Boundaries are everything. So if you look at my life, most of my folks on here, Deidre has a lot of fun. I do. Yeah. I celebrate my birthday the whole month long. I enjoy because you never know when you're going to be called in a moment notice that it shifts and it changes. So you have to enjoy every day. You have to set your boundaries. You have to say no sometimes and then pick up when you can.
I can look at your life, and sometimes we can look from the outside, and the Lord prepared you for all of this. Every step you took was preparing you for today and the next journey. You know what I'm saying? So you should be excited.
I am over the moon, because, and that's exactly right. So, and that goes into, let me honor and listen to what God is asking of me right now.
Yes.
And take those steps, because again, like this year is nothing that I would have written. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you if I was still holding the pen and writing the story. And you know what would have happened? I wouldn't have become a caregiver. I wouldn't have written a book. I wouldn't also birth this new movement called Her Many Lives. Right? We have many lives as women, and we still need to know who I am, who is she, and that's so important. And it's a continuation of life, right? So some folks think that, at least this is what I was under the notion of, midlife is the beginning of the end, right? You hear that, 50 over the hill and all the thing. Well, I think it's the end of the performance. I think it's different.
Yes, it is. It's the end of the performance.
It's the end of the performance. And I've been waiting to end this performance. And now they let me loose, honey. So now where we going?
Now where we going? And we going somewhere fun now.
Yeah.
But you know, everything leads up, you know, all the information that you have. I see it like Moses. And you know, Moses lived in the palace. He was grew up there in the palace. So when the Lord called on him to lead, it was nothing for him to go in the palace. He knew how things worked. He knew everybody in the, hey, Joe, what's going on? I'm coming here to see Pharaoh. He didn't have to wonder, oh my God, what's going to happen when I get here? You already know.
Mm-hmm. That's hard for us. That's really hard for us as humans, right? So I remind myself constantly, because I don't know what the heck. I'm being honest. I'm being real honest and transparent. I don't know what I'm doing. I have no clue. I've never done it before.
Just walk it out. Walk it out. Like in the
I tell myself, guess what? The acorn is not wondering how he's going to become an oak tree. The acorn is not wondering how he's going to become an oak tree. And so I'm just like, listen, the seed is here and it's going to take sprout. And so I'm super excited, again, to give voice to folks who haven't had a voice. And because I am an expert in healthcare and because I do have a platform, how do I use that for good?
Amen. Amen. And you're here, you said, to give a voice to those who have no voice. To give a voice.
That's exactly right.
Those who have no voice. I've got 2 books, 2 of Sharon's brand new, Deidre's brand new books. And if you tell me who she's here to give a voice to, put it in the chat. I got 2 books. So number 3 and number 2 will get the books. Put it in the chat and we'll put it on the screen. But who is she here to give a voice to? Question?
Yes. Yeah. Well, first, let me say hello to my favorite cousin, Miss Maxine and Molly. Hello. Deidre, you talk to the ladies. Talk to the men right now. Encourage us and help us to become more proactive or more active in healthcare giving. What should we be doing?
Oh, I think that that's an excellent question. I think that that's a very, very excellent question. One, women, let the men in. Right? Say you need. Say, listen, I tell you, I learned something early in my marriage, and I was sitting on the therapist couch. I had to learn this on the therapist couch. And guess what? I don't do no more. I don't pick up spills. I may have, if I drop something, I can't be bothered picking that up. Because guess what? I used to pick it up and sweep it up and do it. And my husband's standing there. He needs something to do. Give them something to do. Right? I think that that's super important. And then men, I think it's just important. Like, ask the question. First of all, I give men a little bit of slack because they don't want to pay attention to their own health, right? So let alone focusing on the health of their loved one is a thing. And so do what you can, right? Ask the question, ask the question of the caregiver. Make the phone call. You know what you can do to alleviate that caregiver? Visit the person. Take them off their hands for a couple of hours. Take them out on a ride. Pick up the phone so that they're not socially isolated. And the only person
you with laundry today.
Yeah, like send a meal. Right? Out of sight, out of mind is very easy to do, and we all are guilty of it. But I do think it's super important, and do what you can. Do what you can. Send a cleaning lady over. AKA Ian Dietrich, who's my brother.
Yeah. And it's things like that. If you want to help, okay, let me do this, or let me give you 2 hours, or send in the cleaning lady. That's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's perfect.
Exactly.
Did you have a question, Teresa? Oh, and let me just so that people know. The question, I've got 2 books and they're saying they missed the question. The question is, who is Deidre here to give a voice to? And it's not a difficult question. We said it several times. It write in there what you think. Just write what you think.
Celeste put an answer in, but she's not. It's not what you really want. But you might want to give it to her, maybe.
Yeah, she was a
I like
Christian.
Gail's answer. Gail said me. That's a great answer. I'm with Gail. I say I vote for Gail on this one.
I'm here to give a voice to me. You know what? Okay. Gail and Celeste, y'all got it. Y'all got it. Oh, all right. Go ahead, Teresa.
Well, sort of like not a real question. I think I want to give a personal thought because this is something I'm going through right now. Of course, not really knowing what to expect. However, I got over to my mom and dad's house almost by accident. Something happened to my washer and dryer, and I had to go over there to do my laundry. And while I was doing that, I started seeing some changes in one of my parents. And I think that mishap with my washer and dryer was divinely ordered, or else I wouldn't have been over there to see. But now I've become I'm there most of the time, and I'm helping with some business things and their appointments. We're very fortunate that they can still, get up themselves. They can cook. They can, do their ADLs. But the business stuff, they're needing some assistance with. And so I will say that it's a journey, but I know that the Lord has given me strength. And I thank you for the information about the veterans. My sister told me about that a while back, and I really think that we need to, go ahead and fill out those papers in case we need, some extra assistance
Not
later
even in
on. So I
case.
want to thank you for that.
You'd be amazed. They can probably even support you now. So find your local VSO officer and have them that can help you with the paperwork. So, and Teresa, there's something else that I heard you say that I think is super important. You mentioned that you went over there by happenstance. Sometimes you got to lay eyes because you don't know that I'm going to go back, Sandy, to your question about the men. Go lay eyes on your folks. How have they changed since you last saw them? What are they remembering? Do they look different? Is their skin different? Is their voice different? You have to lay eyes on your people because, again, it can be out of sight, out of mind. I would have never known what my dad needed. And he and I have like this kind of a jovial, jokey relationship. And I was joking about his wife. I was like, well, Daddy, you let me know when you need me to come rescue you. And he said, might be soon. And it stopped me in my tracks. I knew he was serious. Right. And so you have to listen, you have to lay eyes on them in order to know, and then not bury your head in the sand. And I will say, Teresa, also
you cannot bury your head in the sand. It's not going to go away. And it's not going to get better unless you step in.
It's like that car. You hear that little tink, 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 tink in that car. It's telling you something. It's a warning sign that's going on. And then even if it's difficult, project yourself a little farther out. Today, it's only financial resources. What happens when you actually need to step in and start managing their medical? What happens when you have to think about, where's their next home? And so, bring a community around you, your siblings, anyone, or even just think about it, right? Sometimes we're worrywars, but once you take that time to write it down, it eases some of that.
Well, my situation is, and I don't want to, take up too much time, but my situation is, I know that I will have, and I do have support from other family members. That's not a problem. But I'm just saying that, I didn't know what was happening. Like you said, I needed to be there more often, and now I regret, when my mom and dad were doing better, that I didn't spend more time with them. That'll be a regret till the day I die. So I'm glad that I'm there now.
Yeah, I thank you for being there for your parents, because that's a tough one. And I saw a video, and that helped me too. I saw a video, and this guy was talking about how busy he was, his business. His mom was like, "Hey, can you come over? Can you come over?" And she made up an excuse to get him over. He was like, "Fine, Mom." He went over, and she's like, "I just want to sit with you. Sit with your people."
Yep.
Sit with your people.
Yeah. And and you mentioned something a lot of times, and my pastor said it many years ago. He said, think about what you're gonna do if something happens here, or if something happens. Don't wait until it happens and let that be the first time you ever thought about it. You know, you have to make even mental preparations, even if you say, oh Lord, I can't think about it. You know, at some point you need to let that thought go through your mind.
You do. And I was kicking against the goal for a long time. Like, oh no, honey. Mm-hmm.
And you know, I walked in, I saw my grandmother, and like I told you, I saw her aging. And I was like, this is not what us gonna do, you know. And you have to get into that mode, you know, like, okay, we gotta do something. So this has been a great conversation.
Sandy, I need to ask Deidre. This is for Teresa, Deidre, so you have to get it right.
Ooh.
What have you and your dad done yearly that you plan to do this year?
We take a road trip every year. We take a road trip. And so I've been road tripping with my dad. My youngest, he's 3 when we started. He's 15 now. My regret, Teresa, is I didn't start it a lot sooner. Listen, me and my dad, we have a ball and a blast. We go back to his hometown, which is Lexington, Kentucky, and we go to
what?
You from Lexington?
She's in Lexington.
He was sitting on that. You were sitting on that. And that's the surprise you told me. Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, we go to Roots and Heritage every year, and we're gonna be down there this September. So hopefully, I'll get to see you.
Y'all might be related.
That's right. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's do that. Wow.
Me, my dad. So I'm working from his deathbed last year. He's Lazarus now. If I can get him down to Roots and Heritage one more time, I will count myself blessed.
And you know, you can't cry over spilled milk. You just can't. And we all wish things were different. But what are we going to do starting today?
Yeah.
You know, let's do something today. Let's make some memories starting today, because you can't live, you know, in the rearview mirror like that.
So, you know, and there's one thing, Sandy, if I can touch on too, that we don't also recognize in caregivers. Another piece of the guilt is you're ready to let go, right? I'm ready for him to go. I'm ready to walk away. It might be better if I didn't wake up tomorrow, right? And so caregivers go through that because of it can be very daunting to think about carrying this load, you know, because you don't know if it could be a week, it could be 2 years, it could be 10 years. So I tell my dad, I said, Dad, you're 78. You know, you could be here another 20 years. Not in his mind, he thought he was gone. He was ready to go to the upper room. And now what do you do with that? So I think that there's also, it's okay that you have those thoughts. It's very normal. It is very normal. And you are not alone in those thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah. And we had a guest, she had a whole book about, you know, how, you know, your daddy dead. Well, mine is still here. You know, and she was honest about that, you know, and sometimes we want to, you know, we don't know what to do. We don't talk to, you know, sometimes we do need to talk to a therapist. We need to talk this whole thing through and not just walk it blindly. If there's help out there, get some help.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But that's a wonderful book. Again, we'll put that on the screen. This book, make sure that you can go to Amazon and download it.
Thank you.
And it's Holding Space, and it's Deidre Jackson. And go get the book. We have books for, we did Celeste. Congratulations to Celeste. And congratulations to Gail, who has won a copy. But this book is out there, and it's not very big, but it's meaningful. So make sure you go download that book. All right.
And if I can also say, follow me, you guys, on Her Many Lives on Instagram, and Her Many Lives. And then also I have a website, Her Many Lives, that I'm also giving out resources and building a community. So Stay with me.
Amen. And we'll see to it that those get, maybe you can type those in the chat
For
for us.
some reason, my chat isn't going, so I've sent a couple, but
Not to worry. We'll get them and we'll get them there, and we'll make sure everybody knows how to get to you. And we want to say thank you to everybody that joined us today. We will do our round robin for today, and we'll start with Teresa, and then we'll have Richard, and then we'll let our guest Deidre have the closing thought for today.
Well, again, we're so glad that you were here to share with your audience what your study is, what your field is, and what your passion is. And it most definitely is a help, because there are those actually out there who do not know what to do in this situation. And this is going to be very helpful for them. So thank you very much for being very transparent and for your work. And we look forward to following you and things that you do. God bless you.
Thank you.
And before you come up, Richard, we had another comment from our brother, another Nichols family member. I praise God. I praise and thank God for blessing you, Danielle, with strength and knowledge to take Leroy. I thank God he's still here. So not only are you blessing your dad, you're blessing others. So be not weary in well doing. Due season you will reap if you faint not. Richard.
All right. I just want to thank God. This has been a great day. Thank him. Thank you, Sandy Rose, for giving me this opportunity to be here with Teresa and my favorite cousin, Miss Danielle. And since we're having a virtual family reunion, family, I need you. I need you for the family reunion. We're selling popcorn next Monday. Send me your email so I can sign you up to sell popcorn. And Danielle, that includes you. But anyway, Danielle, I want to thank you for being here. Girl, I told you, you're going to be, you are fabulous. You are a triple threat. You're smart, you're beautiful, and you're alive. So, and we love that in you. We want to thank God for your life. Thank you for taking care of Leroy. Leroy, your mama's calling you, boy. But thank you, Danielle, for being here. And we do want you to come back.
Yes. Amen. And before she gives our closing thoughts, again, we're just praying for everybody who said, please pray for me. People are going through things and we don't have a clue of what they're going through, but they smile straight through it. They smile right through it. And we are praying for all of those who said, pray for me. We are praying for the family of none other than Beverly Walker, who is from the Voices of Tabernacle. We are praying for Ava, the family of Ava Gardner. And we are also praying for the family of Barbara Smith, whose husband he went home to be with the Lord on this week. And there's a lot going on in the world. And some people just take it onto themselves. And so pray for the people who just haven't even verbalized that I need prayer. Pray for them. Some people, they don't know how to even get that out. So we are praying for everybody who, whether you said pray for me or not, you will be included in the prayer. So we thank you all for tuning in. And thank you so much, Deidre. You have just been a wealth of knowledge and comfort. I could tell, some of the people's questions. And then, a lot of times when people get quiet online, they're listening. Mm-hmm. They are really listening to what you have to say. So, closing thoughts.
Well, I'll tell you, one, put me on the prayer list because I don't know what I'm doing. And every day is a new day. So yes, please pray for me. And I will say, again, the sandwich generation is very real and we are burning out. So we're taking care of kids, we're taking care of our parents. And it's an invisible workforce and we cannot afford for us to burn out. And so if there's anything in this conversation that resonated with you, please stay connected to me. I think some folks dropped my contact information in, and I would love to carry forward the conversation if I can be a resource, if I can point you in the right direction. Or it also helps for me to hear what you guys need as other caregivers, because then I can take it to a larger platform. And like I said, I plan to be doing some policy work here soon. So stay tuned.
Well, yes, and we are praying that what the Lord put in your heart, even as it grows and flourishes, that you'll just have the grace to continue to do what you do and have peace and success be your portion. Thank you, everybody, for coming out and for joining us today. We really love you. We appreciate you. And there's absolutely nothing about it. Nothing. Night, night.
Night, night.
Thank you.
Elder Rudolph Stanfield.
Come, you're invited to a powerful move of God at the Spring Revival at New Prospect Missionary Baptist Church. Join us May 19th and 20th, where inspiration meets transformation. Lecture begins at 6 p.m. with the dynamic teacher, Reverend Dr. Jesse T. Williams, Jr.
Don't you ever let the looks and thoughts or words of people stop you from connecting to Jesus Christ.
And at 7 p.m., experience a life-changing revival message from powerhouse preacher, Reverend Dr. Lance Watson.
Don't let them prognosticate about your future, because your meaning, your significance, your value ought not be determined by them. It ought to be determined by him.
All services will be held at New Prospect Missionary Baptist Church, 6330 Pembroke at Livernois in Detroit. Come expecting and leave renewed. Everyone is welcome. Reverend Dr. M. Andrew Davis, Senior Pastor. There's no experience like the New Prospect experience. See you there.
You're listening to WVTC Gospel Radio Detroit, and we're flowing in the Spirit.